In today's episode, Carlos and Rob talk about the YouTube channel and Rob's first video.
You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey, folks, welcome back. It's Carlos. And
Hey,
today
I'm Rob.
you got Rob, and we're working on a podcast today. Yeah, I got you, Rob, loud and clear. So we are isolated safely in our own homes, our own little bunkers.
Yep.
We're talking today about the YouTube channel and how that's going, and really celebrating, more importantly, Rob's first video.
Yay!
Hey, applause.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob, for putting that effort into that first video. I know that you've been meaning to try to get one in and figuring it out. And
I know we've been collaborating on a lot of stuff, and a couple of the guys in the group have gotten with you and gotten their own videos out. So I figured it's about time that I get something on the channel. So this is our first shot at it here.
Yep, and when we started first talking about like what to do, right? So that was like you were like, what content? What should I do? What should I do? And I guess my thing was, whatever it is, make it something you love. And when I said make it something you love, what was the one thing you thought of?
Well, I definitely love the playthroughs. I love playing the games. I like filming that, interacting with that. So that's the thing I really wanted to do. I know we got guys on the channel that are doing, unboxings, and we've got guys focusing on different. We've got somebody now that's working on war games and things like that. But I really just enjoy playing the games, kind of the banter and stuff that goes on. Some of the strategy, some of the thoughts behind, why I like things or don't like things, or how I approach a game. So this was kind of right up my alley. So I jumped on this since nobody else was specifically looking at playthroughs, and then I figured the easiest way to do that was to bring in my two older kids, the 16-year-old and the 14-year-old. They both are starting to become budding gamers. They've really been hobby gaming for maybe a year or less now. So, but they've got a handful of games under their belt. So we figured we'd jump into Orleans, which has been one of my all-time favorites for all the games that I've ever played. And both of the kids enjoy Orleans, one of the kids much more than the other. But it was a good starting place, and decided that, Orleans has a few expansions. So idea was I'd kind of jump into that. We'd film a playthrough of just the base game. We'd talk about how we like the game in general. And then over a series of videos, the plan here going forward is we're going to look at each of the expansions. And there's really two boxes that came out as expansions, and they both have several modules in them. So we're going to kind of play around with some of the different modules, some of the different play styles, and we're going to do little quick reviews, just short little maybe 10-minute videos on each of the expansions, how it changes the game, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. So.
Yeah, and I know we had discussed the premise of what you wanted to do and how you enjoy playing a game and talking about what you played. So we ended up falling on a title for your series almost. So what'd you end up calling it?
Yeah, I think it was actually we were messing around with some ideas. I think you had actually come up with it, but we were looking at something like what I just played or what we just played. I think even in the first video, I made a mistake because I was thinking what I just played, but then I figured it's better. I don't think I'm ever going to do much solo gaming. I'm not much of a solo gamer. So I think we decided that we're going to go with what we just played. And so it's not always necessarily going to be with me and my kids, but that will leave the opportunity open that whether I play with my kids, whether I play something with you, whether we are finally hopefully able to get back together with our game group soon, games that we played. And then in each of the different videos, hopefully we'll be able to bring different people in, and I'll be able to try different experiences with different groups. And then what we just played will be the title of the series. So.
Yeah, I'm loving it because that was, last year, I think it was like October-ish of last year, you and I started talking about, man, I said it. I want to do a podcast, right? And it was actually, might have been earlier than that because it was right around September when I went to a Huracan in Orlando, which was the gaming convention, the wargaming convention. And I met up with Rob Oren. Rob Oren's got his huge channel out there. He's part of the Dice Tower stuff. And we were talking, and I said, I've always wanted to do content creation. I just feel like I've got nothing to add to what's out there already. And Rob's advice, Rob Oren, not Rob Childers over there, but Rob Oren.
Oh, yeah, not me. Yeah, the other Rob.
Muscle Rob. Rob said,
Big Rob.
take a game off your shelf and talk about it. It's not hard, Carlos. It's not hard. Then he gave me his card and said, got questions? Call me. That was pretty cool. That was like, that felt, I was a little starstruck seeing Rob Oren because, I'm a war gamer, and he's one of the few war gamers on the Dice Tower channel when he was on the Dice Tower channel doing a lot of that. Yeah. So it really did feel like a little starstruck, just a little bit off that. But to get that encouragement from him where he says, this is how you do it. Easy as this. And I came back to you and said, Rob, I think I was on the phone with you driving back or something. I was like, hey, Rob, we got to do this. It sounds like we're making it more complicated than it needs to be. And I think this series that we titled here, We Just Played, it puts us back into that mode of what we originally planned on doing, which was take a game, play it, talk about our play and what we think of the game. Because our shelves are full of them.
Simple stuff. Yeah. I mean, I've got, I'm growing my collection. I know you got me into hobby gaming here just less than 10 years ago for sure, but probably 6-7 years ago that you really got me serious about it, and we both started really getting serious about what we were doing here. And so my collection's just hitting 100 games on my shelf. I know you've got probably 3 times that many, but you're right. I mean, between the two of us, we've got plenty of games that we enjoy, and any given day we can just pull a game off the shelf, play it, and talk about it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I look at our Facebook game group, and it was established in 2014.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess that's right about when we started saying, you know what, let's start scheduling stuff. Let's start getting people together and growing this little game group, right? And part of our conversation here is just kind of celebrating you and me. Is almost about a year now, because it was last September when we started talking about doing this and where we're at. That game group itself, just that local Carlito and company gaming that we just threw together to schedule stuff, you, me, and like Mikey, is now at 127 people from the community. I mean, that's amazing to see that. And before this COVID thing, I mean, we had monthly get-togethers, and I mean, how many people were we getting at these things? 20?
Well, 20 plus, for just our, monthly, I think we were doing the monthly meetup, and so once a month we would just put out a call, and, we scheduled it. I can't remember now. It's been a little while, but one night, it was the first Friday or the first Saturday, I think it was the first Saturday of every month or something is what we had set it as, and we had pretty good turnout. The first couple, I think we had maybe, it was in the teens, 11, 12, 13 people show up, but then right before we had to stop our regular meetups, I think we had 2 or 3 in a row that we were, 20 plus people showing up for the meetup. So, but yeah, I mean, even just since then though, I mean, at that point, our Facebook group, the gaming group, was maybe 60, 70 people. And so the fact that it's even in these rough times for gamers as it kind of ballooned up and is now, like you say, over 120 people now is just pretty crazy. It's pretty incredible.
Isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it just feels nuts. Like it's just way more than I expected it to be. And I'm it's active. People are in there chatting. I'm in there chatting. We have our local chat. Yep. And that's kind of how it started. And I figured, hey, these folks, we talk to them about gaming all the time. At the end of a game night, we sit around and said, let's just do a podcast and just do what we do after a game day, which is sit around and talk about the games that we played and what we enjoyed. And then that kind of turned into the YouTube side of it, right? Because I was looking for a way to distribute this content without having to buy a subscription into some kind of a service for podcasting. So I figured YouTube would be a good start. Sure. And it wasn't, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago at most, we celebrated hitting 100 subscribers.
Right, yeah.
It was like 3 weeks ago we celebrated hitting 100 subscribers, and today we sit at 173.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's starting to get that point where, I mean, people had told us that who had YouTube channels that are much, much more popular, much more established than ours, but people had told us that, once you get over those first few hurdles, you get past that first 100, that, it kind of will start growing on its own. And then, of course, there's going to be plateaus as we go along. But, yeah, like I said, I mean, it took us a month or two to get to 100. And so we celebrated that. And then now, 28 days later, I think we've got almost another 100. So it's really exponentially just keeps growing. So that's a cool thing. It's almost got a life of its own.
And that's the piece that I think I admire the most or enjoy the most is the life of its own part, right? I'm starting to have conversations with people I've never met before. Like before, everything was within our group. These are folks that I knew. Anyone in my group, I knew them in that little Facebook group we had. So if we had conversations about board gaming, I've either met you or played a game with you. Now I've got people asking me questions about, hey, when you played that game, did you do it this way? Or hey, can you play this game on video? And I'm like, I don't know who you are, but yes, I want to.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling. Yeah,
it is. And I mean, to think that, and I'm not a video guy. That wasn't my thing. And I know that you were more excited about moving into the video front, so you were really happy about doing the YouTube thing. I just wanted to do a podcast like this. This is what I like.
Yeah, it's just two different worlds, and I don't know if it's a difference in our ages or whatever, but I definitely more the video side of it.
40 years apart? Come on, man.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There wasn't a generation in between us.
Yeah, no, we're close enough, but I definitely more a video. I don't know what it is, but even if I'm not actually watching it 100%, there's points where I want to see what's going on. So somebody's talking about something, I just need to be able to see it to connect. And I know you say, for you, it's a lot of just listening. If you're in the car, if you're working at home, doing tasks or whatever, you just like to be able to hear the audio side of it. And I've tried to do that many times, but there's just something that disconnect there, that when it's audio, I tune out after a certain amount of time, and I can't pay attention, stay focused on it. So I need that visual stimulation, I guess, for whatever reason. But
yeah, where I'm more of the audio guy, and I'll sit and listen to hour-long, 2-hour-long, 3-hour-long podcasts all the time.
Oof, yeah.
But I mean, in context, says, look at this. Last week, I think I got my data on the podcast. I think the best week I've had ever in the podcast side of it has been 9 downloads in a week.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
Impressive.
Woo.
Woo.
When I look at the analytics of the YouTube stuff, I mean, just in the last 28 days, I mean, it's just it's insane how many.
We have definitely focused more on the video side of it. So I know your passion really is to go to the audio, to the podcast side of it, and maybe you'll have more and more time to do that as we go. But I mean, it is a big difference. And I think probably the younger generation, I know my kids keep telling me that they're definitely video oriented. They like watching stuff better. So, but who knows?
And video is a whole different medium. Video is a medium about short, quick content, right? Unless you're purposely watching a playthrough, everything has to be under 10 minutes for those folks in the video world. And for me, I just don't feel like it gives me enough time to talk about, to share about, to banter and discuss like we're doing today.
Yeah, well, that's why we got both of these mediums available, so that's a wonderful thing.
It is, and I want to get more of getting the folks who are contributing and the people in our group to join us on this side, to have these banter conversations about different topics, focused in on a topic, talk about what we've been doing, and hopefully get the podcast side up to where the YouTube channel is. I mean, right now the YouTube channel is at 1,491 views in the last 28 days. Right?
Yeah,
so you think about like 9 downloads.
Yeah,
in a week. It's huge.
Yeah. I don't know what the potential audiences out there are for both sides.
Statistics say 30-something% of U.S. Americans, right?
Yeah, listen
to podcasts at least once a month.
Okay.
So I mean, was it 300 million people in the U.S.?
Something like that. Yeah,
that's a lot of people listening to podcasts, and I've been listening to podcasts since I got my first little iTunes Apple thing. So I've been doing podcasts forever. That's my favorite medium.
Yeah,
so they're out there.
People. Yeah, it blows me away. I haven't seen that, and so it's. I guess it just depends on what world you're in, but
I guess the other difference is, and to think about this, part of what drives me into the podcast world, Rob, is the opportunity within the podcasting world, because YouTube contributors, there's a million of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. But in the podcast world, you're looking at, in the 100,000 range, right?
Yeah.
In the hundreds of thousands. So not huge numbers. There's opportunity that's untapped in that podcast world that we can get to, and really just talking about what we did.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to spend so much time on all the extra work that goes into video, taking pictures, taking videos, and all the visual side of it. So, I mean, it's easy just to chat, just to talk about stuff. So that's just natural.
And I guess the toughest part has been getting to the place where our equipment is in the right place. And I think it all changed for me a couple months ago. Right? It was just a couple months ago when, was it May? It was around May, end of May, when I received that grant from Jamie Stegmeyer of Stonemaier Games.
Yeah. Stonemaier Games, yep.
That changed everything. When he financially supported some of what I wanted to do, it changed the way my wife looks at it. It changed the way I look at it. It said, if someone else is willing, someone that big in the industry is willing to say, hey, I think you got something here.
Right, that's a big part of it. Somebody that's established and is in the hobby gaming industry is a household name. Everybody knows Jamie Stegmeyer and Stonemaier Games. So even though he still is considered by many to be a kind of a smaller publisher, smaller designer, but he's definitely one of the rock stars going forward, one of the young stars in the industry. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is almost like the days of wonder of before you were gaming. The days of wonder of past is like what Stonemaier is now.
Sure.
But in my day when I started gaming, Days of Wonder was only publishing one game a year.
Yeah.
And they were focusing all their energy on one really good game. And that's kind of how Jamie does it. And to be recognized by someone at that level, right, to think of the Days of Wonder of today being Stonemaier Games, said to me, you know what, it's time for you to put some effort back into this and really push yourself. And that's where I started upgrading equipment and trying to make it easier for us to do what we're doing right now. I don't think to think that 3 months ago I would have said, hey, let's do a podcast with you at home, just calling me on your phone, and it'd come out decent, right? It's huge. That's a huge thing. This is going to make things easier moving forward.
Oh yeah. If this works out, this is easy. Like I say, I mean, we only live 25 minutes apart, but still having to get in the car and make that drive to come over to your home studio.
I mean, you got 3 kids. I have 3 kids. I got baseball. You got scouts, and just the ability to do this at 10, 11 o'clock at night after everyone's in bed, things have gotten kind of quiet.
Yeah,
that's going to make a difference. So I think we can get more of this podcasting done and introducing more people into the phone call and getting us into doing more of this is going to be great. So let's go back and talk a little more about your video, like your experience with it, right? So I've been doing a lot of these videos, and I know the frustration that I've gone through having to tweak and figure things out and know that didn't work and that did work. And, what were some of the things the obstacles you didn't expect?
Yeah, well, as far as, shooting the game and stuff, that was the easiest part of it, was just kind of getting stuff on video. I just shot some photos on my phone. I used my phone as one of the cameras. You had loaned me a camera that did time-lapse videos. We were able to get we played actually 2 playthroughs of the base game. And so we did time-lapse video on both of those full playthroughs, and we added a couple of snippets into the video. But the biggest part for me, or for us, I should say, is that
you and RB and Emmy. That's the us.
Right. Between the 3 of us, as I was going to say, my oldest, RB, had never really done any video editing at all, and we were kind of playing around with a couple of different video editing tools and softwares, and the biggest thing ended up being the difficulty with finding a video editing software that would work on our non-state-of-the-art computer, but would still do a decent job and could do what we needed it to do. So, I think that was the biggest thing. Getting the stuff on video, getting it actually onto the computer was all right, but delayed getting it over to you because of first of all, our lack of familiarity with video editing. Either one of us, either me or my son, who would like to do more of that kind of thing. He's kind of more of the techie. My daughter's more in it just for being on camera and being kind of a personality that way, playing the game. She's actually probably the bigger gamer of the 2 of them. She's the one who comes to me and asks me to play games on a regular basis.
And she does that because she wins.
Yeah, that could
let's be honest.
Well, she's handily beat you and I and some of the other guys in our game group. Yeah, she's a bit of a savant. Yeah, exactly. So she blows us away sometimes when she plays, or usually when she plays.
I'm always rooting for Emmy now. Like I'm officially, I got my T-shirt. I'm Team Emmy.
Yeah. So the 14-year-old beating these old 30 and 40-year-old guys.
It's great to watch, and she does it with just pizzazz and just finesse. Just
Oh yeah. She won't let me correct her or anything. When we get into a game, and I'm starting to learn that I don't need to correct her because, again, I keep trying to fix things for her.
You need to focus on your game, Robert.
Right. I explain things. I'm trying to tell her, this is the strategy. This is how you do this in this game. And then she's like, no, Dad, I got it. And then she finds a different way of doing things that I never thought of and ends up wiping the floor with us. So, anyway, so she's on that side of it. But getting back to the difficulty, RB, my oldest son, was the one who wanted to do the editing. So I kind of turned him loose for a little while, and I kind of stood over his shoulder and directed. But it took him a little while. And as with anything, the more he does it or the more that we do it, it's going to get smoother and smoother. But it took us a few days to actually get things edited, to get things in the place that we wanted, to learn how to kind of cut in still frame photos while we were talking, how to put that time-lapse video over top of us talking about, what we liked about the game, what we didn't like about the game. So learning that part of it, and then eventually just the exporting part of it, learning how to, to find the right resolutions, the right settings on the computer so that when we exported it and tried to get it over to you for the final touch-ups and getting it posted to the channel, which it'll be coming up on our YouTube channel here Wednesday, I believe. So just in the
we're going to post this podcast tonight, August 31st, and
cool.
and it'll be up Wednesday.
Okay, so just less than 48 hours away. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I'm really excited to see the crowd reaction, the YouTube reaction to it, because it'll be our first video that we've had out with any, quote unquote kids in it. Everything up till now has been the adults and has been, I think, all males, all guys in all the videos. And so this will be our first video with a female, with my 14-year-old daughter in it. And then again with a 14 and a 16-year-old in it. I'm real curious to see how the people who have enjoyed our channel and have signed up, for our channel and become subscribers to this point, if there'll be any positive or negative, feedback with this being a little different style, with it having a couple of kids in it. Maybe we attract a new audience there. I don't know. So it'll just be interesting to me. I'm real curious to see what the initial feedback is. And then going forward, my plan is to try to do, one a week, try to get these out.
That's a hefty goal. I don't want to knock you. You know me. I'm all about, hey, do what you want to do, boo. But, I guess doing this myself, you saw how much energy it took to do that?
Yeah, the playing part of it, again, is going to be easy. As I was saying before, the kids are all in on it. I told them, hey, one a week.
Would they live with you? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You got a built-in game group. That's awesome.
That makes it easy. Yeah, so 3 of us. I wish my wife played, but she hates games. She's too competitive, so
Me too.
She hates to lose. So yeah.
This is why you and I have bonded so well, because our wives hate playing and they like talking to each other. So we play games.
Works. Yep.
Yeah, you got your built-in game group, so it should be easier to get the games in. But I mean, doing once a week. Think about the production piece of it, the editing piece of it, and it's going to get more complicated.
Like I said, my son wants to do that, so we'll find out how bad he wants to do it as we go forward, as we keep putting this stuff on tape. And, once he's done 4 or 5 videos, we'll see if he burns out on it and he's still as excited about it as he is today. But, if he's willing to keep editing them, that's not my bag. So, again, I'm more I want to play the games. I want to shoot the footage. I'm enjoying a little bit, finding the right camera angles and doing the right lighting and that kind of stuff. So that part of it is the fun part for me. But, once it's on the computer, I'm going to mostly turn it over to him. Like I say, I'll kind of stand over his shoulder, give him some ideas, but I'm going to let him run with that a little bit and see if he can stay motivated and stay on top of it. And if so, I know it's aggressive, I know it's optimistic, but if we can I think we're going to have probably 5 different videos in this Orleans series that we're going to do. We're going to play through some of the different modules and the expansions and some of the different game modes, and then we'll put all those on tape and kind of, like I say, compare and contrast them as we play each one. We're going to talk a little bit about our strategies and how we had to change our strategies for the different types of game modes. But, if we can do 5 in 5 weeks, and then I'll kind of reassess where the kids are at that point, and I guess where society is at that point, whether I'm still playing games at home or whether we're starting to be able to get back together with our gaming group. But we'll continue with this, what we just played series and pick the next game and go from there.
That's a great point, because part of what we did, right? Part of my goal, what I stated when we started this was, look, let's just try to do 10 things, right? Like if we can get to 10 things, 10 videos, 10 podcasts, 10 anything, then I know that, okay, I'm having fun and I'm doing it. Because if I don't like doing something, I don't do it. I've always been that guy. If it's not fun for me, just not going to do it. And we got past 10. I think we did it.
That's what I'm saying. So this is kind of our trial period. I figured we get through Orleans, like I say, has its expansions. I mean, we were just counting, I think right before we went on the air here, that there's 9 or 10 different, actually technically different modes you can do, because there's a solo campaign where you can play through 3 different solo scenarios, and I don't really plan to do that. There's a dual mode where just 2 people can play, and we probably won't do that. But as far as covering the main different ways to play Orleans, there's a cooperative version. There's a couple of different modules that you can add in just to the base game to play. It kind of changes the way you play the game.
Right. So this is you're talking about your planning now, like the future state.
Yeah, exactly. So, but again, I think this 5, get back to the test run idea. If we can get through this 5, then I can reassess with the kids, see if they're still on board with this, if they're still enjoying doing it. If not, if one of the kids likes it and the other doesn't, we can drop one of them out and then kind of go from there. Or like I say, if they both aren't enjoying it, then I can try to get with different guys in the game group, different people in the game group, and carry it on that way. So we'll reassess after we get through this little run and see how it goes.
No, I think you'll be fine. I think just you'll end up doing the 5 and toning it down. And that's the thing, is at the end of the day, I want people to contribute and have fun doing this as an extension of their hobby.
Sure.
Right. So, because you had talked about you're looking forward to seeing what the feedback is going to be, right?
Yeah.
And in my mind, I expect it to be good, right? So you talked about having your daughter there, being one of the first female players to join us.
Yeah.
Right? And I saw that in the analytics, it says that 52% of our viewers were female. I mean, did you expect that?
I saw that. No, that's definitely shocking. So hopefully that continues. We'll see how that plays out as time goes by. Hope it's not just a blip on the radar, but that's a big thing. And I know people have talked for years now about how the hobby is dominated by a certain makeup of gamer, males between the age of whatever and whatever. But I think that's definitely changing. I mean, people have talked for years now about trying to change that paradigm and shift that. And so I've been hearing all over that it's becoming much more balanced. I know as we've gone to conventions, gaming conventions, the last 4 or 5 years, I've definitely seen more female gamers. I've definitely seen more young gamers. I'm seeing a lot more variety in the people who are coming out and enjoying games. And so hopefully that's indicative of what we're going to see going forward, and that those people are picking up on our channel and liking what we're doing. I mean, that's a wonderful thing.
And you think about the folks that we've met, the husband and wives that we've gamed with at the Dice Tower convention, and each year we come back and we see them again.
Yep. We've seen that first husband and wife that we met there on the first convention you went to, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think they're like celebrating their wedding, and then boom, they're now we're seeing them as they're coming together for 3 years now.
1 year anniversary, 3-year anniversary, and yep.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good.
So I think you're going to get good feedback. That's what I'm saying. I think you're going to get good feedback. So where are you going with it? What's the next step?
Well, along that line, as I kind of said, I mean, we'll feel this out and see where it goes. I mean, ultimately, I'd like to turn it into once we can get back out and gaming with other people. I'd really like to do it at our game meetups. When we maybe could advertise ahead of time that we're going to be filming a particular game and look for people who want to volunteer to play it, and just kind of grow that into gaming with different people. Probably initially in our game group, but even maybe outside of that eventually. At conventions or wherever we are, but just being able to film it, get a little, I'm hoping to keep the videos pretty short. I think, 10 to maybe maximum of 15 minutes. It's not going to be an in-depth, jump into the game. It's probably going to be, I'm liking the idea of the time lapse. I'm really thinking that's kind of cool because it kind of shows people as we're giving a brief overview what the game's about, what we like about the game, what we don't like about the game, all in 10 minutes. That time-lapse video of showing us playing, whether it's a 30-minute game or a 2-hour game or whatever it is, being able to squeeze that down into just a couple of minutes of fast-frame video is really cool to be able to see kind of from start to finish how the game evolves, even though you can't pick up every move, every little detail. But I think that's really a cool part of it. But ultimately, we're looking to just expand this to open into playing with everybody. So not necessarily, like I say, it's going to start out as a family thing here, but I'm definitely looking to grow it outside of just being me and the kids. So.
No, agreed. I'm just I'm enamored at the idea of watching you guys, because I've known y'all for so long, and watching you try new things. And I know I offered to say, hey, I'll take care of the editing. Don't worry, right? And you were like, no, my kid wants to do this. You know, right?
Yeah.
That was the goal. My kid wants to do this, and
expose him to it. Yeah.
Watching you do it as a family is a big part of it, and I think that's a big. It's great to see that because your kids came over and play here all the time. So now we're going to do this together as friend and with the kids that I watched growing up.
We were playing some Gloomhaven just this weekend, so that was a big step. But we had a good time, and once again, Emmy stepped right in and took over one of the characters. Dan wasn't able to join us this weekend, so she jumped in and did a great job. A little bit of coaching on the side, but other than that, I mean, she ran that character and did exactly what she was supposed to do throughout the game. So that was good.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, she killed the boss on that episode.
As the support character even. So yeah, it was pretty impressive.
She did the automatic kill of the boss. So, and you can't beat that.
Yep.
Well, this has been great. This is a great first step, and I think at this point I haven't numbered any podcast stuff that we've done. I haven't numbered anything, and I think this is kind of like everything else was kind of a test and learn and kind of the beta stuff. And man, some of that stuff was bad, but
that's gonna be. But yeah.
I think this is officially, episode
one. Number one.
Episode,
starting point.
The redo.
Yeah. Well, now the pressure's on now because everything's got to build off of here, right?
Yeah, it's just going to get better. So when it comes to the podcast stuff, I think this puts us kind of at an episode one. I don't know if we do season one, episode one, because this is now we're no longer the intro. We're in the
Yeah.
This will be season one, episode one, until we feel otherwise.
Well, it's a cool thing, and this is definitely going to be, it's not just going to be me and you all the time, of course. It's going to be, we're talking about having maybe 4 of us on here at a time. We're talking about, rotating it through different people that we play games with. So this will be an evolving, changing thing as it goes, of course, as well. But, we're going to hopefully have lots of different personalities and find people that our listeners can relate to as we go forward. So.
And that's the big part for me, Robin. You know that. The biggest piece of what I wanted to do here was to provide a diverse group of folks, right? Of which our group is that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Our group is a very diverse group of folks, such that anyone can watch and maybe identify with one of us, right?
Sure.
A war gamer or... I'm even talking about diversity of thought, right? So war gamers, Euro gamers, puzzly gamers, they're going to find someone that likes the type of games that they like. And you're going to hear the joy that they have when they play games, that when we talk about the games we play that they like.
Yeah.
That's my hope. And that's always been my goal, is that others can see a little bit of themselves in what we do.
All right. Definitely a variety show, I think, is the way that a lot of people classified. I know that's what they are now calling the Dice Tower Group, because they have so many different contributors and things. And so we're not looking to exactly copy what they're doing, but I think what they're doing is good. I mean, bringing different people in, different ideas, different thoughts, different male gamers, female gamers, gamers from different races, religions, what have you. I mean, just covering the gamut of everything. So,
but at the end of the day, all that does, right? All those different categories, all that does is provide, in my mind, diversity of thought.
Sure.
Right? We're going to get different ideas from different people who came from totally different places.
Oh, yeah. And we've seen that.
And that's the fun part, because it really gets, I like having good discourse, learning, talking about these games, and not just being in an echo chamber of a bunch of war gamers who love what I do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, I'm definitely not a war gamer. You can have that. So
I've tried.
Oh, yeah, you've tried. Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, folks, on that note, that's going to end our podcast, our season 1, episode 1 of the Beans and Dice podcast, the new beginning. Not the
absolutely
not the. It's not the end or the start of something new. It's the end of the old stuff. It's kind of a starting of a starting. I don't even know anymore.
New starting point. Yeah.
A new starting point. Yeah, the new rally point. So.
Yeah.
That was
Absolutely.
deep. That was real deep. Yeah. Carlos, good.
Yeah, I
nice
gotta go
word
think about that
usage
for a
there.
while.
Yeah, English
Yeah.
is not my first language.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah.
Anything for the folks,
okay.
Rob? Anything you want to lay out before we head out?
No, I just
Final party
I guess,
comments.
yeah, just the standard stuff. I mean, certainly we enjoy feedback. We welcome feedback. So whether it's on the YouTube channel or however you can get in contact with us, definitely let us know if what we're doing is something that you like. If there's suggestions, if there's tips, anything anybody can do to keep steering us in the right direction. I think I think we're doing what we want to do, which is an awesome thing. But we're always open to feedback and ideas. So. Keep the ideas coming.
Yep. On that note, folks, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you on the next one. Stay safe. Say bye, Rob.
Bye. Keep having fun gaming.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.